Well, that was the biggest shock that I had when I realised that I didn't know that the StreamYard music has changed.
I was going to say it switched up.
That's one of the biggest shocks I've had in quite a while, because ever since I've been new in YouTube, which is a couple of years now, that's not changed. So,
caught me out the other week as well, mate.
Yeah, that's caught me off guard completely. But hey ho. So yeah, we're back. I'm gonna just explain my absence before I go on and introduce everyone. So basically, what's happening with me at the minute is that I am suffering with a medical condition some would call wrestling fatigue. And in that, since starting this channel, I've watched every single, not every single like event, but the mass majority. And every single week, my week is kind of, I don't know, broken down into days when I've got wrestling. So on a Monday, I'll think, oh, I've got Raw to watch. On a Tuesday, I'll think, oh, I've got NXT to watch. And I realized that that was making me really cynical and making me not like most of the wrestling altogether. So I've now taken an executive decision that is my own to only watch NXT, TNA, and then anything else I fancy for the foreseeable, potentially until WrestleMania / Revolution. So the reason we didn't basically go live last week was because I didn't feel there's anything of relevance apart from NXT and TNA. So yeah, that's my absence and why the lives might be a little bit more sporadic and when I feel there's something to talk about. So enough about me. Let's go around to everyone else. So I'm going to introduce Jordan first because yeah, he was with us last time and he's become more regular, which is great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm definitely glad the Wi-Fi's decided to sort itself out, and so I can join in a bit more.
Yeah, no, that's really good. To have you just watching a pay-per-view on Sunday was always really cool as well. Because obviously, one of our friends, I encouraged him, basically made him watch his first wrestling show in around 15 years. So as I was there, and I said, you know what, let's jump on. Thankfully, he saw the women's elimination chamber before the rest went a little bit weird. So I haven't really planned this introduction, but this is quite a big moment actually, because although they still talk and are on good terms, it's one of the first times that they've been back together away from Arsenal for sure. So yeah, this is a fairly big moment. I don't really know. I haven't planned this. But I realised the importance when both of them that were coming on at the same time.
It's emotional.
So Lee, how are you?
Good day. I'm doing all right, mate. Not too bad. I am multitasking a little bit. I know that's a bit unlike me, of course. But yeah, I've got to keep an eye on Princess in the other room. But she's.
I'm doing well, thank you, Lee. You don't have to check up on me. It's fine.
No, that's good to hear, mate. It's good to hear. But Eagle Pickle's taking care of Amy right now. But yeah, all good. Sam, you said you're turning a bit cynical.
Mm-hmm.
Are you turning into Posh Bertie?
Well, yeah, we did have this little mini discussion before you came on. Right. About how much I was looking forward to watching us for the rest of the season, but we'll leave that there. Posh, how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing well, thank you. It's like it's great to be reunited with Mr. Meadows. It's like the Mega Powers reuniting. It's fantastic. And I must say, Sam, this wrestling fatigue that you've got, that's quite funny because I have the exact same thing with football. Isn't that a coincidence? But yeah, no, I'm doing great. Well, I will be doing great until 8 p.m. tonight. So yeah, let's make the most of it while we can.
Yeah, it's the funny thing is that everyone here is going to feel that same pain in a couple of hours. Well, I hope not, but we shall find out, I suppose. So
hold on a sec. Let me just check my roller because I'll see what time it is.
We've got enough time yet. Mums are in the chat. What's happening, people? I wasn't speaking just before the stream at all. I feel that. I think that's to do with my wrestling fatigue.
Right.
Dawg. I think that one's for me.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. And then sporting fatigue, be real, yeah. Although I've got many teams that let me down in many different sports, so I think it's probably a factor. So, Elimination Chamber Sunday.
Yeah.
Did you all get a chance to watch it, or at least parts of it?
I know what I need to know.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I was on the stream with you, of course, Sam. So yeah, had great fun watching it.
Yeah, it was really
I
cool.
watched it in the morning. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it in the morning when I woke up.
To fill everybody in, we had a Discord call with myself, Jordan, Jenna, Humza for the main event, and Devon popping in and out, and then a new addition to the chat that hasn't yet featured on the channel. We'll get him in at some stage. So actually, as I was sat there, I thought to myself, do you know what? Over these last 10 years, when I've watched wrestling on my own, I would have dreamed of this moment when there were 6 of us in the same Discord watching the same thing, moaning at the same things and getting excited at the same things. Jordan was behind, so I had to kind of hold my excitement because 5 seconds after Jordan's excitement happened as well. So he was in front for Rumble, but then behind for Elimination Chamber. So
I'm so glad I was in front for the Rumble. Being behind for the Rumble would have been a killer.
Yeah,
That remind me of that Royal Rumble match. Jeez.
Until-
Louis. Hang on, sorry.
Yeet.
Until Stand and Deliver, when hopefully we're on the same time, but we should find that out. So, to start off the Elimination Chamber, I thought was one of the best Elimination Chambers that I've seen in a very long time. It's what we always ask for, this non-stop, just mayhem. Obviously, from the start, when Naomi came in, Half came in, and then what happened next was just magical, although it must have been painful. Getting your legs, last foot slammed in the cage door. So yeah, first of all, I want to go around and get just your overall view of it. I'm going to start with Lee.
Right. So my overall thoughts on the women's match, really cleverly put together. The fact that we had the start that we did, obviously the surprise return. Remind me of the girl's name, please.
Cargill.
Jade Cargill came back, and then the swerve looks like she's going for Liv at last minute turn, and to go for Naomi. The drama in the pod and Bianca Belair's pod as well. Seen that on the YouTube today. I thought that putting that story together was quite fun. Obviously, I think that's going to be addressed in the television broadcast. I think on SmackDown, if I'm not mistaken. But really clever to start the match like that, and the match continued to impress. I think it was a lot of fun all the way, and it was interesting that Belair managed to get herself together after what happened at the start of it to win the match. I thought really well placed, a lot of good showings all round actually.
Yeah, I echo a lot of that. I remember saying on stream that if this is the version of Jade we get next, I'm 1,000,000% for it, because I think this is what a lot of us had asked for, not the kind of taped back nice version that we've had in the tag team, but this absolute monster that comes in and causes some mayhem, which is what we got.
The only surprise was she didn't take Naomi's place in the match.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
It was. But
maybe it kept her strong as well, so
did that, looking back, just add to dramatic effect that she came in and wrecked some stuff and then left again? Jordan, what was your overall thoughts?
I agree. I think that was probably the best women's chamber match we've ever had. It was great from start to finish. The Jade Cargill section was great. I do think it was a shock that she didn't go into the match, but it made sense, because if she went into the match, I would have wanted her to go in there with the target of the storyline being Bianca Belair was the one that attacked her with Naomi. So I feel like if she went into that match, that would have taken Belair away from the overall win, and it would have been someone else who I would have been happy for it to be. I would have been happy for it to be Liv Morgan, as I think she had a fantastic chamber and a fantastic year. But I'm very happy with this match, and I will definitely be going back and watching that one over and over again.
Posh, passing it straight over.
Yeah, no, I can echo on what you all of you said. It was a very, very good match. Definitely one of the best, if not the best, women's chamber matches. And you can tell myself and Mr. Meadows used to work with each other, because I was going to say the exact same thing that he was regarding Jade attacking Naomi and the way Bianca reacted to that moment. There was a clip that WWE posted on social media focusing on Bianca watching what was happening with Cargill and Naomi. The way she reacted and everything was just top tier. It was fantastic. And yeah, that was really good to see. And yeah, good storytelling involved in there. And speaking of Bianca, I think it was the right winner. It was either going to be her and Liv, wasn't it? But it's Bianca won it, and that's probably the right decision. And I enjoyed, attacking Liv Morgan with her hair, which was a very
let's fail that, mate.
Obviously, I say enjoy. I wouldn't have wanted to be in Liv Morgan's situation there, but yeah.
Being whipped like a government mule.
Thank you, Jim.
Also, I think I echo that to the to when the leg / foot / whatever it was slam on the cage door. I was saying, I absolutely love this, but switch position, and I wouldn't want to have known what that feels like, because it wouldn't have been a nice feeling, I'd imagine. So I think we've covered a lot of it. I think that was your main real story that happened. Obviously, I think each wrestler had their part to play. I'm a little bit annoyed they didn't. My only annoyance is I'm a little bit annoyed that Roxanne Perez didn't get really much of a show. She kind of was in. Me and Jordan got really excited as per, and then she kind of got eliminated without really showing much of herself, which is a little bit disappointing. But hopefully they've got plans for her from Mania, which I'm hopeful of.
She's only just come up, isn't she, from NXT, right, Perez? So
yeah, I'm hoping that. Well, there's a couple of ways that they could do it. I'm not going to tempt fate, because then I'll blame myself if I get it wrong. But yeah, obviously, it's like the Alexa Bliss back. She got a little bit of a say in things, but I'm hoping that they focus on her, because I think people were genuinely really excited when she came back, and I was one of them. So yeah, obviously, Belair won in the end. At the time, I thought, oh well, that's okay. Like, that's who we expected to win. But now, as I kind of think about that deeper, it makes a lot of sense. So hopefully we'll find out what's happened next.
Yeah,
so
I think a lot of way the story can go. Obviously, when we get a bit of a reveal, this is what's happened, and we'll see if anyone else was involved in the attack, and see where else it plays out. Be interesting.
Yeah, it will. And again, Cynical Sam says, I hope they do all of this right. But we shall find that one out. So I'm going to pass it up to whoever wants to cover this one, because I don't really remember anything about it. / I'm not really bothered. It was the least bothered I've been for a match in quite a while. So we had Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Does anybody want to take this on board?
It's good to see Trish still wrestling, and I should know because I've had the pleasure of meeting her last year inside the ropes. So yeah.
Anything you want to add on the match, mate?
On the match, I'll be honest. Again, much like Sam, I can't really comment. I I wasn't exactly bothered by that. But on the subject of Tiffany Stratton, I hope that when it comes to the match between her and Charlotte at WrestleMania, Tiffany gets the win. Because, I don't think we want to see Charlotte Flair get another title, with all due respect. I think we can be united on that front.
I think that's all part of her contract. I think, Charlotte wins.
Yeah.
One thing I will add on this, nice to see Trish back. Be nice to see if she has another little run going up towards WrestleMania, as we're only about 6 weeks away. So could happen. Maybe a multi-person match with her, perhaps.
Maybe. I just wish that they'd put it in a match that meant more, because obviously it's quite nice of going back to Canada and stuff. It gets great reception. But I just wish they'd been a little bit, I don't know, more sensible with their booking and booked her in a match that was not non-existent. But hey ho, we'll move on.
I mean, I don't think there was too many options for her, really. I mean, where else? Yeah. Who else? What else would you have put her in? I think I wasn't a big fan of the booking, but it was a great way to close out the Tiffany Nia Jax feud, and get a cheap pop for Canada and Trish. But yeah, I couldn't see no one else having a meaningful feud with Trish where it would have meant something. I think the only loser in this whole situation is Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. I also think it just reminded me, as you said, Canada, about what they did at the start of the show.
Yes.
I didn't think about it. I haven't really planned this, but I thought it was horrendously poor timing. Why
would you do it anyway?
Yeah, why would you do it anyway? But I think at the time of current shit, I don't know also why they would do it. It makes me think that I don't know. It makes me just confused. Because it's one of those ones, isn't it? They don't normally do this type of stuff until Mania anyway. It's not something that happens that often now. Like sometimes it does, but it doesn't happen that often. It just leaves a little bit of a sour taste currently.
Are we talking about the national anthem section?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Good. I wondered if I'd missed something. That's all. I'm glad you said that. Yeah. Mate. Thank you.
Just to give some context, for some reason the WWE decided to play the American national anthem first in Canada, which was met with probably the loudest boos I've ever heard for a national anthem, and then decided to play the Canadian one afterwards.
Fair enough. I needed Hacksaw Jim Duggan there.
That would have got cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember Jordan going, no, surely they haven't. And I was going, well, what's happening? Because obviously this was on the YouTube stream before the actual Netflix run live. And then he's, no, surely not. And then I had to quickly get it on and the internet wasn't working. So I didn't actually see it, but it's just not great. Skipping past that very quickly before I say anything else. We have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn next. Does anybody want to take this one? Because I think I have a bit of a clouded view on this. I didn't actually think it was very good. So yeah.
I thought when we were watching it live, I think it felt a bit slow, but after watching it back and watching some highlights back, I think it was a great fight, and that's what it was. It wasn't a match; it was a fight, and it was more storytelling than anything else. And they just showed how much these two hated each other and wanted to hurt the other person. Put some cool spots in there, but it did feel slow. And watching it live, it felt very slow. But I mean, the work between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they deserved that moment to have their big match in Canada. it's just fantastic together, and I don't think that will be the end of the storyline between them. I think another couple of years, and we'll see another fight and another turn somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's the longest story ever told, isn't it, between them two? And like your point, it was a fight. The fact that apparently it's non-gimmicked barbed wire as well, so that's quite interesting. I think they did literally kick the what out of each other. It wasn't pretty, perhaps. I do hope that Sammy's okay. There's a few reports that he's hurt his neck again, whether that's kayfabe or otherwise, I'm not sure. But I thought for a fight, I thought it was okay. I enjoyed it.
Posh, any final words?
Yeah, I think obviously those two have got immense history with each other, and I think for what it was from a storytelling point of view, I thought it was good. Yeah, and I think, as Jordan said, it was more of a fight than a match. From a match point of view, you could definitely feel it was slow, but I think it was a big old brawl rather than a match. That's how I feel, and from that point of view, it was very good.
Yeah, I just thought I would be better to pass that on because everything that I'm reading about it says it's really good. But obviously, as I watched it Saturday night, it was potentially because I'd been to a gig the night before. So it wasn't the wisest idea to even stay up in the first place. I've got a little story about the ending.
I think there's some matches where you watch live, you might not like, but if you watch it back, you'll begin to kind of appreciate it more. I've been in that situation before, so I kind of get where you're coming from there.
Yeah, it was. Go on, John.
Yeah, I was just going to say, definitely, if you get a moment, just watch it back. I was just looking at the runtime there, and it did feel slow because it was a 27-minute match that wasn't very fast paced, so it was a long match anyway. So that's why it felt so long. But definitely watch it back.
Yeah, I think leading on to that though is that because of that one lasting so long, I think they had to rush the last match because I'm trying to wrap my head around how they didn't get it really wrong, but I'm wrapping my head around with the people that they had in that match, how it wasn't an absolutely unbelievable chamber. Until, for me, I'm going to pass it on to everybody else, but for me, until the final two, which was CM Punk and CENA, until that rolled around and we saw that 5 minutes of magic that they both can make in the ring, I felt that it was pretty, I don't know, poor's not the word, but it was uninspiring compared to the first one because that was so crazy and so, fast paced. It just felt really methodical, slow, and a little bit rushed. Pass it on to Jordan first.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the runner-up of Elimination Chamber matches of the night. I'm not quite sure where they're going with the Drew McIntyre booking. I mean, to give him another roll-up. This is like his third or fourth roll-up loss recently. I'm not sure where they're going with that. And if I was a Drew McIntyre fan or Drew McIntyre, I would be livid. But I'm going to trust the process of the storytelling for that one.
Oh, and not that line.
And sorry to pull that one out of the Arsenal book. I think
you stole what I was going to say at the end, but no, carry on.
I think we're going to get Priest versus McIntyre out of that. I think Logan Paul's going to have AJ Styles. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The John Cena and CM Punk portion of the match was fantastic. It was okay. It was a decent chamber. And from the moment Seth got eliminated, that's when it leveled up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think on paper on paper, that was shaped up. It had to be one of the best. I'm counting now just to make sure I don't mess up. The best 6 in a chamber that they've had in a very, very long time. So I think, like I say, overall, I'm pleased that my friend that hasn't watched for 15 years, the first match that they saw was the women's chamber, because ultimately that's how we would love it to be all the time. I know that's not possible, but to step back in and see that match, you'll be like, oh yeah, actually, it's still a bit exciting, followed by the rest of it, where I'm not sure. I think I've slightly hooked him, but we shall find out. Posh, I'm going to pass it on to you next. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was the men's match was good. I'm just pleased that Logan Paul didn't win because after seeing him come third in the Royal Rumble, I was thinking, no, they're not going to have him be like the runner-up or some stupid, like that. Luckily, that wasn't the case, and I don't know where they're going to go with Drew McIntyre. Although I feel like I've been saying that for quite a while now, so I don't know what's going to happen there. What really got the match going was when it was down to Seth, Punk, and Cena. In particular, the Punk and Cena moment when it was the final 2, and Seth cost Punk the match, hit a stomp on him, and Cena made him pass out. So that was a very good side to the match, and John Cena was the winner. More on that later.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I think that's the one time that it's turned my head the most, because I had everyone pretty much other than Cena down to win, and I wouldn't have been surprised if any of the rest of them did. What I wasn't expecting for them to do this. Lee, I'm going to pass it over to you before I go on anymore.
Thank you very much. Right, so one thing I will say about pacing, maybe they had to slow it down a bit and then to build to a crescendo in musical terms, and that's what we got with the Punk and Cena thing. I really liked in that little part of that they both had this little moment together saying, I missed you and I missed you too, kind of thing. I don't know if you caught that. I thought that was quite nice. I want to just go back to the Drew McIntyre thing. Jordan's mentioned he's been rolled up about 4 times or something. I think that leads to him absolutely going even more mega heel than he actually has done. WrestleMania, not sure where it leads for him, but the bit after Seth got eliminated and he's just outside the ring, he hits the stomp on Punk, and then Cena, without even hesitating, there was your first clue going on the STF, which he cinched on tighter than we'd seen for literally years. That was the first sign that things were about to go down. It's actually a callback to Raw 1000. Check it out, because a very similar thing happened in the same sort of a few of the same characters. I think Big Show may have laid out someone, and there was hesitation with Punk, and then he lost the match. So that's one thing to look at. And yes, Cena wins and he gets to challenge Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, it's almost like you did that on purpose. It leads very nicely onto what happened
Need to attend to Amy. I'll be right back.
Absolutely fine. So I, at this point, after having the gig the night before, said, you know what? I think I'm going to watch the rest from bed. So I went downstairs. The whole Rock thing was kicking off. So I rounded back to the point where I was, carried on watching, and then just got to when Rock and Cody was talking, and then I zonked out. I woke back up, tried to do it again, and passed out. So I didn't see it until the morning after. but obviously, well, that morning. So obviously, what happened is one of the biggest shocks I think ever. I don't think if anybody pre-saw this happening, then they would be completely lying, because I think it shocked even the most cynical wrestling fan. So in no short terms, Cody told The Rock to clear off. And
I don't remember it like that.
No, I don't, to be honest. But I've kept this stream to shit so far, so I think I'm going to stay there. It links very nicely into what CM Punk says yesterday, actually, but after this.
Saw that as well.
So yeah, in no uncertain terms, he told The Rock to clear off, gave a signal to CENA, who was behind him, and CENA hit him where it would hurt, and that was what we had. Obviously, Travis Scott just stood there chilling in the background, seeing one of the maddest things unfold. But I don't know what part he had to even be close to that story. But hey ho,
he was having some herbs and spices.
He wasn't actually. That's the thing. It wasn't. Well, if he was, it wasn't as obvious as what it was on the debut of Raw. But so yeah, it's one of those ones. I don't think anybody's quite fully taken it in yet. He didn't come out on Raw, at least I don't think. I haven't got to the end of it.
No, sir, he didn't.
So that's good.
He's filming a film in Africa right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they said in the post-conference, Triple H said that he was flying from the arena straight to Africa to film something.
Oh, okay then. I suppose
Right after he dropped the mic in the press conference, and then he went.
Was amazing.
It's I suppose it's one of those ones. That's what famous people do. I suppose I can't really, say any more than that. Lee, I'm going to start with you this time now.
Okay.
Do you have any words to describe it? Because I'm struggling for them anymore.
Okay. I'll go for, I've already done a JR, so good God Almighty. Now, I want to give props to production for this, because it was shot beautifully. The embrace, CENA and Cody, then the look and the face drop, the gesture from Dwayne Dwayneson, and then for it to go down like it did, and I really liked. Come in, Amy. Go on, come in. I really liked the fact that the beating came in. Hello, Amy. Come in. Say hello.
Say hello.
The attacking. Amy, they all say hello. Say hello.
Say hello.
Where should they subscribe to?
Subscribe to Good Old Cat.
That's my good girl.
And Wrestle Dogs.
And Wrestle Dogs. So I've got to teach her that bit. But so the way he set about the beatdown, and with using the watch, which is obviously the callback, he didn't execute any of the 5 moves of doom because he knew that would get a response positively. That's clever way of putting it together. So he did go full heel, and then the subtle little bits that go along with this beating at the end, the little foot on Cody's face at the end when they're doing their big old pose. And by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, Travis Scott has legitimately busted Cody's eardrum up. So good work, mate. Well done. You had one job, and that was just to do whatever you're doing in the corner there, and he goes and injures the champion about 6 weeks from WrestleMania. Good job. But the way they put the whole thing together, we're going to look back at that. It'll be interesting. I mean, Cultaholic have just put a video out comparing it to like the best heel turns of all time. It's probably right up there with the likes of Hogan joining the NWO.
Saw Posh nodding there, so I'm going to go on to him next.
So originally, that segment was meant to be advertised before the men's chamber match. Fun fact. And so when I was skipping towards the men's chamber match, thought, oh, I missed the Rock segment, but I didn't. That turns out it was later. So I was thinking, well, if they're saving that bit for last, then surely something big is going to happen rather than Cody telling Rock, no, I shall not give you my soul, or something along the lines of that. But when that happened, so everything was playing out, I was kind of joking to myself, going, what if CENA turns heel instead? That'd be funny, won't it? That won't happen. But yeah, oh my god, I loved it. It was fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where the story's going to go. And yeah, the Cody versus Corporate John at WrestleMania, and of course, CENA is advertised to be in the UK when Raw and SmackDown come to the UK. So that is going to be very interesting. And see, originally I thought when we saw that weird promo with The Rock and Cody, and The Rock saying, I want your soul, I think we all thought that was possibly one of the weirdest promos ever. But when you come to what happened with CENA, I guess, and this would have been more impactful if Jordan didn't say this phrase before me, you've just got to trust the process.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I just shudder again. Sorry.
I did have the words to say after that, but now they've completely gone. I don't know what I was going to say, Jordan. While I try and remember what I was going to say, I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what a moment! What a moment! I mean, I thought something was up when he cinched that STF in. It wasn't like a normal one. It was tight. It was more of a choke than an STF. And as he did it, he said, I don't know if no one else picked up on this, but he said the words "I'm sorry," and I was like, he said that to Punk, and I was like, oh, that's weird. So he was foreshadowing maybe what was coming. And I don't want to be the guy that said I called it, but do you remember at the start of the stream when I said, wouldn't it be funny if we got corporate CENA tonight? And lo and behold, but yeah, what a moment! And I will personally say this is the greatest heel turn ever. This is the best one because Hulk Hogan, he needed to do something to change up everything. No one wanted to say their prayers and eat their vitamins anymore. John Cena could have rode out on the sunset, won his title and gone, but he's gone, do you know what? No, I'm going to turn heel. I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to give the fans one hell of a ride. And what a ride it was. And yeah, I'm confused by Travis Scott. Apparently he was burning sage and waving sage about. Is that some sort of foreshadow?
So
yeah,
sage. If you go into a room and bless the room with sage, you're supposed to take any negative energies away from the space that you're in. So that makes sense, I suppose, in terms of the will you sell your soul being very, very culty and satanic. That's how that would all link up.
Good work, Sam. I hadn't figured that out. Well done, mate.
I haven't done any research on that. It's just because I've been to various things where I've been in and like, oh, blessing the room with sage, and I'm like, oh, well, what's that then? So they've, so yeah, that's the only reason I know that. But I was going to be Cynical Sam's coming back because I said they have now got time in the whole year to reverse back all the good that they've done. If they suddenly decide that 1 week we're going to turn corporate CENA back into normal CENA. So hopefully, again, I'm wrong. But I've seen people get excited for things before and things change very quickly. So go on, Lee.
I can only see that happening like in returning face when he's finished and done. like he's had his last match or whatever, and they presented him for Hall of Fame. That's the only way that's going to happen.
I really think you're right.
There's two things I was going to say. One was you got to feel sorry for these Make-A-Wish kids who've seen us saw earlier in the day. They're going to go back and say to their parents or carers or whatever, "Mommy or Daddy, what did I do? Cena went bad." And who'd have thought on Pancake Day that John Cena turned into a bit of a tosser? There you go. Thank you very much.
Ray. Not pre-planned at all. Not pre-planned at all.
Off the cuff, mate.
100%. Right. I'm quickly going to skip over some things through Raw because
Can I just throw one more thing in for John Cena's heel turn? I was thinking of it last night that I think the way they're going to book this is Cena's going to be this bad guy all summer long. He's going to be terrible, and then Cena's going to come to the realization it's not worth it, and he's going to turn face, and his last match is going to be face Cena versus the final boss, The Rock, for the title way down the line, and that's going to be Cena's last match.
Third time in a lifetime.
Someone's got to win it. It's 1-1.
Nah,
I can't see that happening.
No,
I do think that he'll turn face probably just before his last match. I can't see him retiring as a heel, but I can't see him facing The Rock either. I think, you might be right, and I don't know. I can't see it happening at the moment.
I have seen enough Rock versus Cena in my lifetime to not want any more. So I want the last one to be CM Punk. I don't quite know how that works, but I want the last one to be CM Punk. Just because I think it's slightly selfish on my part, just because it's one of my favourite matches ever. So I think that's slightly selfish, but go on, Lee.
Let me ask you a question, guy, and this is to any of you. So Rock's done two hand gestures on the way through, right? He done that, and then he did the two. Is there a third man involved in this whole scenario?
There could be. I've seen a lot of rumors saying that there is a third man. Could it be Travis Scott? Is it Drew McIntyre?
Is it CM Punk?
Is it Sid?
After last night's promo, I don't think so.
Oh, it could be putting us on the scent. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, that's a funny thing because they're the two things that I'm going to come to be fair. So
pre-planned at all, guys.
I'm going to be quite upfront and say that I haven't watched this. I have watched the opening couple of minutes where CM Punk uttered the lines of, I'm liable to get us kicked off Netflix right now.
Yeah,
I got really excited and then stopped, and I did for good reason. Because if Cody Rhodes can say that the night before, when he told The Rock to clear off, it's going to have to be something bigger than that, which it wasn't. It was basically bad-mouthing The Rock and bad-mouthing Cena, and then overall blaming Seth Rollins. So, yeah, if FU isn't going to get them taken off Netflix a couple of nights before, that certainly is not. So it was good work to get me intrigued, but then I was kind of let down. And then later on in the show, Adam Pearce basically announced that CM Punk and Seth Rollins will be next week, which is rather bizarre. I want to, pass on those because I'm really surprised at this one and bewildered at this booking. Lee?
Steel cage match as well, which is a bit rare on television as well.
Is it?
Yeah, steel cage.
Okay, I missed that one bit out my notes.
This is why we're all here. This is why we're gathered here today to help each other, right? A bit weird doing it on TV, but then where does it build from there? I think that's part of their the storyline will continue. I don't think normally you see the traditionalist in me sees a cage match as finishing the feud, right? It's weird them booking a cage match just after a chamber match. I do agree. I'm looking forward to it though. It'd be a banger.
Yeah, I'm completely bamboozled because I was reading this and writing this down with Humza off stream, and I said, well, that's the worst kept secret in the world. We were supposed to have CM Punk and Seth last year, and obviously we didn't get that. So my instant thoughts was, oh, that sets up that match now for Mania. As I continued to read down, it said Adam Pearce has dealt the situation and it's next week. So I'm slightly disappointed because it seems like sometimes they're looking at the bigger picture, but then other times they're just kind of putting a highlight reel match on to sell a show.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not even a match, by the way.
I
bet it's just a beat it down.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is setting up for a third person to be in the match. And I think at Mania, and currently Roman Reigns doesn't have a match for Mania. And after the way the Royal Rumble went down, I think we're going to see Roman Reigns get interjected in this feud.
I feel slightly better about that if that's going to happen. Posh.
Yeah, I think I agree with what Jordan said. You can't leave Roman out of WrestleMania, especially after all the things happened at the Rumble. I was surprised to see that Punk and Rollins will be facing each other next week. I thought they were going to save that until Mania, or again for the triple. But I think that's more likely that the triple threat is going to happen at Mania now. But yeah, especially when it's taking place in Madison Square Garden next week, so they kind of have to have something big for that.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be an interesting watch. And I thought Punk's opening promo was very good.
Tune in next week to see if we do a show on Monday, if I actually watched it or not. That can be a recurring thing now, as Sam actually watched any wrestling other than Raw and NXT. So yeah, that was that. Obviously, that's going to unfold over the next few weeks, so I'm not going to go heavy on that. The other thing that, apart from a few retains of titles, which included War Raiders retaining against the Creed brothers and Lyra defeating Ivy Nile, there was and Ludwig versus Penta. Maybe I've got a question mark next to, which is a little bit of a mess after the match was announced. We had the main event, which, as I woke up this morning from my slumber, I didn't know about. And then I got a message from Jordan to say, can we make sure that in the future, if something as big as that's going to be spoiled, that we put spoiler alert on it? And I thought, you know what, that's a good plan, because even though after replying back to my message to Jordan and going to check the group chat, I also found out what happened anyway. So, but yeah, that was a lesson learned this morning. So hopefully you've all had time to catch up. But Liv Morgan lost the title against Io Sky.
Rhea Ripley.
Nope. Try again.
Just take a minute.
Commercial break.
Yeah.
Action. Take two.
We'll try that again. So if you were listening a second ago, just completely wipe whatever I said from your memory. And it was Rhea Ripley that lost the title to Io Sky. And then later on today, I sent a message to a few people, because I didn't kind of want to put it in the group chat again after this morning's debacle, that it is apparently going to be Io Sky versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, according to WWE's Instagram page. This is where I, again, got really excited, because I thought, wow, they're doing something different yet again. But then I realized that when Jordan said they'll probably put Rhea Ripley in it anyway, and I went,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I also put, that means she'll just win back the title then, which is my honest, cynical thoughts. But Jordan countered me with that one. I'm going to pass that over to him.
I don't actually really remember what I said. I think I just said that if they're going to go as far as Rhea to drop the title now, it's probably because they don't want her to drop the title at Mania, and it's probably them giving Io Sky her flowers for what I think's been a pretty incredible year for her. So, you know, we're here for it, and if this is them saying Io, you know, great job for the last year, she deserves it.
I really hope they surprise us again and keep that just them two, because I think Rhea Ripley's always going to be a draw for them. They don't need to put a title on her necessarily for people to go mad. They're always going to go mad just because of how good she is as a wrestler and as a character. So I really hope they do another 360 and keep this the same, because I think if you break those two down, although they're kind of two different styles of wrestling, I think that both of their styles could interfuse together really well, because they still have this both kind of high flying personas. So I'm going to pass it over to Lee and Posh for the final words before we close it up.
Right, I'll keep this really, really quick. I like the match, or the little clip that I've seen of the match. Belair, of course, was the distraction. She was on the outside, and Ripley's attention was going the other way, where it looked as though she might have taken a count-out win at some point. Managed to get Io up onto the top rope, looking for the avalanche riptide. Was beautifully countered. That sort of head scissors downwards, and then the moonsault for the upset win. And I don't think anyone called the change of title on Raw last night. If they did, they'd be lying. So I kind of like the change of direction here. Ripley is post match has cut a very emotional kind of promo interview kind of thing, where she's sort of blaming herself on a lot of things that have gone wrong, with the Dominic situation, with the Liv Morgan situation, and where she's sort of she's disappointed in herself. I feel that they're doing something with her character a little bit here. Almost felt like she was almost a little bit heelish in her mannerisms in the match. So it'd be interesting to see where, you know, if they just go with the one-on-one match, which I think everyone wants, because I think that would be quite fun to see. But I don't, you know, where Ripley ends up now in an emotional state, you know, where does she go? I'm not sure.
Final words with you, Posh.
Well, the title change was something I didn't expect, but it's quite a welcome title change. I think Io Sky definitely deserves it after everything that she's done the past year. And I do agree with Jordan in that I think we will be seeing we talked about Roman, Seth, and Punk as a triple threat. We might be seeing another triple threat at Mania in Io, Rhea, and Bianca. I think that's probably the likely outcome, especially with, as Lee mentioned, Rhea's promo at the end. I think, they've definitely got something for her, and I reckon it will be that triple threat at Mania, which will be interesting to see.
Yeah, hopefully, if that's not the case, I don't get triple threat like fatigue and
triple threat fatigue.
Fatigue, yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I'm going to stop saying that you'll see me on certain days, because I don't actually know when you'll see me now. Leave the element of surprise a little bit more, I suppose. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming on. I shall do some things that I have in the background.
Hey!
Over to Lee first.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you can find me, of course, on the Gooner Gathering YouTube channel We put a video out just before we went live here on Wrestle Dawgs tonight, sort of wrapping up a few loose ends before the PSV game. Yeah, find me at Gooner Gathering. Find me on Twitter, X at Goonly Meads or at Gooner Gathering. Thank you very much for having us, Sam. And by the way, how lovely it was to work with Posh Bertie again. Missed you.
Yes, absolutely. And Gooner Gathering are on the road to 400 subscribers. So make sure that you subscribe to their channel and get them to that number.
Thanks, mate.
Jordan, you're next up. Anything you would like to tell the people?
No, there is nothing too exciting going on with me. Apart from I'm playing Ministry of Sound next month on Good Friday for some dubsteps. Come down to that. And if anyone watching has SmackDown tickets and they don't want to go, please send them my way because I would love to see a John Cena live.
Depends how much the hour.
I can't help you with that, I'm afraid.
No, not for £500 a ticket.
Because it was £200 a ticket for the back row for Raw, so we won't go into that. And I have this prepared. Posh, pass it on to you.
Well, I can't say I've got plans for anything on my YouTube channel at the moment, unless I feel like I want to rant about Arsenal, which might be sooner rather than later. But yeah, usually when I can, I'm usually a guest on various people's channels nowadays. So you can probably find me here, there, and everywhere. Maybe not everywhere, but around the block sometimes. That's what my situation at the moment. So yeah.
And obviously, you're here and watching, so you know where I am.
Yes.
So yeah, we shall see you all soon. Until then.